bring you guys on after. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. It is just after 6 o'clock on the last day of January. Whew. Yes, and people want to know, hey, because January the 426th it's not fucking joking. All right. So with me, as always, on a Friday morning, we have Simpua and we have
Good
Ben.
morning.
Yes. And we even have the producers. Look how wide awake they are. Hello, James.
Hi. Hello. I knew you guys lived together. I knew it.
Flex, where are you? In the background there. There he is. All right, so Flex is there. He's actually a real person. Yeah. Making sure about that. All right, so we're doing a different kind of a show today, and we want you to be a big part of it. And you're going to be able to join in the comments section. We're going to do a little piece of the show just now where we let you ask us questions, and you can get immediate feedback. That's anything you want to direct at me, at Ben, at Sim, or at one of the producers. Totally up to you. So lots of cool and interesting stuff happening. And you might notice from the title of this thing, we're going to be talking about cyber farting. This is according to James anyway, about Ozempic butt, which I notice is still spelt wrong, and then audience feedback. So we'll get to all of that just now. Very, very good. Slippery pickle already hot off the press this morning. Turns out Ozempic causes osteoporosis. So I guess it doesn't just make you lose weight, just big bones. Well, yeah. Unfortunately, this is the stuff that you discover. Like for those people who decided to get like every COVID shot and every booster, and they realized along the way, oh, hang on, these things don't prevent transmission, and they don't prevent infection, and I've just taken like a whole bunch of drugs that I don't know the side effects of. Great move, guys. The reason I bring this up is because yesterday was Bobby Kennedy, his confirmation hearings. And this is amazing to me because this guy, he's like a through and through Democrat, right? I mean, you've seen him, Simpiwe, you've seen him, Ben. This guy's like, he's a Dem. Like the people on the Democratic side of the aisle should love this guy. But my God, did he have a rough time from all these, and it's all the Democrat women. They are just a furious bunch of harpies. I just want you to see this picture quickly, and you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about here. Just have a look at, like, imagine being faced by these women here. Look at this. Look at those women. There's Hillary. She wasn't there though, and the other five are all like Democrat women. There's Jill Biden as well. She wasn't in the hearing, but. That the last two at the bottom there are actually pictures of these two, and it was like, really, you want people to think of you as being like that naggy, irritating wife, because that's what those people look like, right?
Yeah, Gareth, that just looks like marriage.
Yo,
Popping.
well,
there are so many guys in their 50s going, "Jeepers, that's just Thursday for me."
They look so mad.
And they are. I mean, even Chief Senator Elizabeth Warren. I say Chief because she obviously is also American Indian. Pocahontas is what they call her. Look at her. Okay, like there may be a little bit of AI and CGI going on there.
But cuckoo as well, you know.
She
Just add that
crazy.
in the mix. Like,
Yeah, she crazy. Oh
sure.
man. Anyway, this guy, he I think he's going to get confirmed, and I think so will Tulsi Gabbard, who's probably these are the most controversial picks of all. And there's a guy called Kash Patel who's going to be running like the agencies, the FBI and CIA. I'm not sure which one, but he's going to be in there somewhere. So it's all very exciting.
Sorry, Gareth, this sounds like mob talk. What do you mean he's going to get confirmed?
Oh, okay. So what happens is,
you always forget that so few of us know as the level of American politics that you do.
Well, I'm glad you asked, Ben, and I have a prepared answer. So let me just get my notes here. All right. So since you asked, all right. The first of all, what happens, Ben, is that when a president decides to appoint his cabinet, unlike here in South Africa, we don't really have any say in the cabinet. That's why, for example, Angie Motshekga is our Minister of Defense, you might notice. And we had a bunch of soldiers killed the other day, and she flew in to this place in the Congo where our troops were stationed. And I'm sure she was really, really helpful and useful. You know Angie Motshekga, she of the 30% pass mark, right?
Mm-hmm. Doing a great job.
So in this country, what happens is Cyril, or whoever the president is, they just choose one of their friends, one of their comrades, and they just move them in. And we don't have any say at all. In America, they kind of don't have a say either, but the Senate gets to confirm a presidential appointment. So, for example, Donald Trump's just become president. He was voted in. He was inaugurated on January the 20th. And now he gets to, he already told us who he's going to pick back when he was elected, right? So this is kind of unprecedented, the speed at which he's moved. And then they have to sit through a session where they get those Democrat women hectoring them, like you said, as marriage. It's really just a chance for the Senate to quiz people, to make sure that they're not complete lunatics, to make sure that they don't, behave like psychopaths, that they're not gangsters. I mean, in our country, if we had to do any of that, we don't have a Senate. We have a National Council of Provinces, which includes traditional leaders, and each of the provinces has a number of seats. But I don't know if they'd even know how to ask the right question.
So basically, it's basically like the Zondo Commission, but it actually goes somewhere.
Yeah, well, it should. And to be fair, Bernie Sanders gets to ask Bobby Kennedy about pharmaceutical drugs and whether or not he's against vaccines, and those are all very pertinent questions, but it actually becomes like nothing particularly good even in those US confirmation hearings, because all that happens is the Democrats shit all over Donald Trump's appointments and they have to defend themselves. Sometimes they're very good at doing that, like Pete Hegseth, who's the guys who they brought into the Department of Defense. He did a pretty good job. I mean, I don't know how any of our ministers would get anything right in a hearing like that, even if they were asked questions by very low IQ people. Poor old Angie, she is head of defense, Angie Motshekga. But I just want you to see something quickly while we're talking about this. And before we move on from this situation, I want you to see a video that was posted by Power FM on... Did you see this the other day? They showed us how big our cabinet is. Now, I had no idea. This is almost like it's about a 50-second clip. I want you to look at the size of the room. Don't worry about like the ministers smiling and saying hello or anything. Just look at the number of people who have to be in the room. These are ministers and deputy ministers. And in some cases, they're also like directors general and secretaries. But look at the size of the cabinet, all right? We have probably the biggest cabinet of any country in the world. And yet we have about 2% of everything that works. All right, so just take a look. And then I'd love to hear Simpiwe, Ben, and your comments.
Here are the people we were talking about. They are here.
Yo. How Sananan? Indiani? Yes, okay. Premium. Yes, sir. So, right.
Yes, the minister is going to address that. And as soon as we finish here,
Afternoon. Afternoon. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 7
Yeah. Did you see how many people that was?
People. It's just
There were-
packed to
There
the
were
brim.
3 levels.
Mhm.
They should tier it, because what do the people in the back see? They see nothing.
Yeah, it's almost like when we went to Stuttgart, James. I mean, Ben, there are that many people in the places that there were at Stuttgart. It's ridiculous.
That is,
And all those people have to have a say in whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they're so apparent. I don't know how many times our cabinet meet. Apparently, Trump meets with his cabinet every week. I think Cyril has met with our cabinet twice since the elections here. Twice. I could be wrong. I'm willing to be corrected, but that's what I've heard. So now you know why we get nothing done, because they're all sitting there. You imagine how much tea they order, how many sugars they have in their tea, how many biscuits they want. I mean, those people are really there for the free meal.
But they all look so happy here. Cheap as they were looked after. That every single one of those people, they were
John
happy.
Steenhuisen with his bowl of pork crackling.
Just
you know,
the buffet there must be so nervous. Come like 11 o'clock, it starts to like shake a little. Because come lunch, that thing is getting pounded.
But can you also imagine how long the requests are? Because they'll ask you like allergies, and what would you prefer, not prefer. I'm sure there's bacon, eggs, top tier stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's it's just terrifying. So anyway, that's our cabinet, and I none of those people inspire me particularly, and I'm saying that across the board, as someone who was pleased with the results of our election last year, because it showed that we're moving into a phase where we're no longer a one-party state, and everybody has to say. You saw Gayton, and you saw John Steenhuisen, and you saw Siviwe Gwarube, who's with the DA, but she's in education, and then you see the ANC ministers there, Aaron Motsoaledi, and you saw the deputy president Paul Mashatile, and Cyril's like, ha ha ha, here these guys, like he's always laughing at stuff that's not funny. Anyway,
you just know what's going on.
Yeah, and we actually lost people. Like we lost South African soldiers. Now, when you say South African soldiers, and this is a big story too at the moment, we mean that we've lost people, like fellow South Africans who we've sent to some place. I'm not sure why they're there. They say it's a peacekeeping mission, and I don't know why we. But Simpiwe, what do we have to do with the Congo? I mean, do I have to pull up a map of Africa to show you how far away from us it is? Why are we defending stuff in the Eastern Congo? Even Paul Kagame, who I don't like very much, he's the president of Rwanda, but he runs a tight ship there, whether you like the guy or not. It's a kind of a dictatorship. They haven't really got free speech, but then they do have like cleanliness. The place is clean, which shows that people have a little more self-respect than we do. There's trash all over this country of ours, but that place is at least clean. So they win on that front. But he was saying, like, if you want to fight with us, Cyril, bring it, basically, this week.
South Africans must not do that. Please don't do that. It's bad enough, I think it was last year or the year before that, where they basically took a survey and they were like, South Africa is just that country where we should not even start wars. We shouldn't do anything because we're not armed. We're not equipped to defend ourselves. And here we are sending troops. I think at the moment there's 13 people that have passed on or have died, the soldiers there. And I'm just like, where were you going? What are you doing there? And they're complaining that they don't have enough. What? Hey, come back home. Just come back home, like abort mission, because why?
Well, guys, you always have to look at so who's got mindset? Does Cyril have minds? Is Cyril throwing children down little cobalt holes? I mean, the only reason they're there is because someone's got money there. They're not there because they're worried about the people of Goma or some shit like that. So if we go through go through mining portfolios of whoever's in that room or other
No.
mates of Cyril? That's why they're there.
Well,
but people battle because we look like idiots now. Our troops are dying. They arrive and just die.
We realized a long time ago there's no shame with this with our oaks. Zero
and
shame.
Simpiwe, we didn't give them ammo. Like they had guns and they had their uniforms, but we didn't send them enough ammo because Angie probably only thinks 30% of the ammo is necessary. Like she thought 30% pass would be all right at school, you know?
This is what I mean. Just short mission, like stop it, don't do it. There's certain battles we don't need to be part of. If you want to figure yourself in certain things, do it another way, not like this. Because now we look like idiots. And this guy's like, hey, if you want to fight, let's go. Oh.
Yeah, and Ben is probably right because we don't know what the reason is. I mean, it's supposedly some African Union, UN thing, but we can't be like pretending that we're a real country with like a proper army and sending people there if we don't even have the ammo for them. I always think, imagine you're a family member of one of these soldiers that we've lost. Now, you can argue, our soldiers are poorly trained, that the SANDF is not what it once was, that we have more chiefs and not enough Indians like Pocahontas, but we don't have enough people who actually know what they're doing in our military. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an expert on our military, but it seems like when we're losing people and they're being killed, that is not good. Azalea's got some info here. She says Rwanda has a vested interest. By the way, we'll get to vests in a minute, in causing disruptions in the DRC. It might have noticed Ben's outfit for the morning. They benefit from the chaos. South Africa's there because the world's largest iron ore deposits are found there. There are many nations participating. Great, but then where do we benefit from that? Huh? Wouldn't that be nice if we got some of that? I don't see any trade deals in place. And if we're going to send troops somewhere, then we must conquer. We must be able to take it and make it a colony of ours, Kind of like we're a colony of America because we take so much of their money to buy our ARVs. Here's someone who has some feedback for you, Ben. This is very important. This is from Carl. He says, a vest, Ben? Really? Have you finally lost all respect for yourself? Also, a gun show so early with the dick emoji. I don't know what Carl's on about there.
Can I correct Carl? It's not a vest. It's a wife beater. Okay, that's what Ben is wearing. He's wearing a wife beater.
Well, it's so early to get life advice, but suck another dick, dude. Really, you and your comments.
But Ben, you do look like you've just woken up to go down that pub with Onslow.
It's 6:18, guys. What the fuck do you want out of me?
Look,
Josh,
you wouldn't dress.
Guns, bro.
you wouldn't dress like that at the studio, though, right?
No, because it's so cold. I can't. Those air cons are on like -7 for the cameras. So,
Simpiwe, you know what happened to Amos, who works for us the other day? He was walking around.
Did he die?
No, he was walking around in a vest though at the office because I was there before him on Wednesday, and then he walked in, and apparently, as he was walking into the building, a bird flew over his head and shat on the back of his shirt. So he had to take it off, and he only had a vest on underneath.
Well, guys, it's kind of a temperature thing. So I have windows that go out into a door here, a main road. So that's noisy. So I can't open the windows. If I put a fan next to me, you're going to hear zzz. And the sun is rising right here. So I'm about to get sun in my face. So yes, Carl, I'm wearing a vest because I don't want to be sweaty at 6:20 in the morning.
Well, Congo Chris says, Carl, what are you on about? Vests are the poorer uniform. I thought you'd approve. It does look like you're about to go and open your fish and chip shop on the corner.
Yeah,
got it. Yeah.
Yeah, boo. How you doing, boo?
Meanwhile, Simpiwe is looking very, very classy and sophisticated this morning. Nice.
You must always just look respectable. You can't just be rocking up in white beaters.
Hey, we haven't really talked about this, but I think it's worth bringing up. Is that you are like a TikTok star? No, really, Simpiwe. I think we mentioned it when you came back in the first episode of this year. But Simpiwe is she's a big deal in the TikTok community. She's doing all these videos about being a new mom and all this stuff. So you must go and check out her what's your channel called?
Ozempec.
There we go.
Follow me on TikTok, and I talk all mommy stuff. you know, the struggles
nice.
of being a mom. Don't recommend it, but yeah.
All right. And then Carl from PE, a different Carl. We've got a lot of Carls listening to us. Ben is transforming into an Accrington Stanley fan with that vest.
Yeah, well, transformed. It's already happened.
And Carl says, that's the fucking Greeks, you racists. Guess we all look the same. All right. This is the time for listener feedback then. I know we've got lots to talk about this morning, but let's get into this. If you have a direct question for Simpiwe or for Ben or for producers James and Flex or for me, then bring it on. I believe you have some sort of intro for this, James.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, he's done some sort of intro for this. Here we are.
Oh.
No, the intro was for you to say. It's on the running order.
Oh, for God's sake. I thought you'd made it. I thought you made some sort of video for me.
But fair way to start and kind of intro.
The fact that you even joined the show just to tell him that.
I've got the intro. Hang on. Give me a second. I do have it. It's right here. Hang on.
No. We can't use someone else's music video and say it's an intro. Not allowed.
Yeah,
all right.
big.
What's it been?
I said nothing.
No,
I just thought I was also hoping for something really incredible with the intro.
All right. So Janet says SIM card is rocking momhood. Little nano card is so cute. I love that they're calling a nano card. That's good. All right. So if you've got questions and you've got things you want to ask us, then pop them on the screen now. In the meantime, I saw this and I thought you'd enjoy this morning. Cher, who's like, I don't know, 1 billion years old. How old is Cher? She's been around a long time, right?
I think Cher is 137 years old. Let me just confirm. 78.
Yeah, okay. All right. So here's
78.
Cher. She just appeared in an Uber Eats ad. And I do think it's kind of fun. I love ads where they spend a lot of money. And you can see they've thought about it a little bit. It's not just some crap about how you should feel bad about something or you should feel good about something. There's actually a bit of a storytelling thing here. I'm only going to play you the first little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Can't play the whole thing, but here is famous singer Cher from the 1920s.
Take me back to the 80s. Who are you? This isn't the 80s.
Tis the 1680s.
Yeah, she's both young and old at the same time. Witch! She's a witch!
She's a witch!
I'm not a witch, I'm an icon.
Witch!
Are those my boots? This is ridiculous.
So good.
Isn't that cool?
Love it. Love it.
Those
It's
Uber
not
ads are
too
really,
much.
those are really great. Didn't they have one with Jennifer Aniston and she forgot all her friends? That was also them, right?
Yeah, I think it was. You could see also that they're not scared to spend some money. I mean, it's not going to be cheap to get, Cher or Jennifer Aniston, and I like that. They've made a lot of money out of me. I use Uber Eats often, so I'm thrilled that they're good. Yeah, thanks, Ben. Yeah,
Sure, bro.
Got some chip grease on your vest there.
Yes, you can't throw comments out like that and not get abused. Come on.
Oh, please. I don't. You live on your own, Ben. How many times in a week do you actually slave over the hot stove or the oven? I'm talking like at least once a week. I go, I feel like some fish, but fish is, I don't want to cook it. So then I'm
eat game meat, eat organ meat, eat steak. Like this.
Organ meat. Organ meat.
Be a fucking man with this stuff, Gareth. Eating like it's a school truck shop. You're too old for that now.
All right. Well, here, since you asked, here's something that I don't know if even Ben has tried this. And maybe if you haven't had breakfast yet, you should hold off on breakfast until you've watched this, and maybe you won't want to eat after seeing this. All right. You ready, Sim?
No.
Okay, you're gonna hate this, but here it is. And I love the way they say the words of what kind of meat it is more than they need to in this clip.
Is one of the smelliest foods in the world, pig vagina. Although it's very smelly and contains a lot of bacteria, eating too much can cause cancer. But its unique taste is very popular in Vietnam. Before making this delicacy, chefs will give it a full-body spa. They'll add salt, lemon, and white wine and massage it for a few minutes. This not only removes the black dirt from the skin, but also eliminates its fishy smell. It's worth noting that the breathing holes need to be cleaned very carefully. You might think the chef is joking, but no, this is very serious work. If you don't believe it, call your friends over to see. Because pigs have hair, the chef takes out a husband's razor and performs hair removal surgery on it. After the processing is complete, the clean pig vagina is placed in a pot, along with vegetables to remove the fishy smell. Under high temperature, its meat becomes firm. After patiently waiting for 10 minutes, take out the pig vagina and put it in ice water to cool and enhance the freshness of the pork. After washing, slice the pig vagina and place it in a dish. From the screen, you can see how elastic its meat is. Add red sauce and mix well. Next, fry the pig vagina in an oil pan and stir fry with star fruit and shallots. Wait patiently for 3 minutes, and this delicious Vietnamese specialty is ready. Those who have tried it praise it and
There are so many lines. There are so many lines to take out of that. Wait patiently for 3 minutes. The sensation for pig vagina, it is so strong. You have to wait patiently. Wow.
I saw Simpiwa's face when the narrator goes, the pig vagina needs to have the hairs shaved off.
I love how they get the picture of the fly comes in. And even the fly is going, you know what? Maybe a bit much. I'm out.
Just even the cleaning process of it. Oh, guys. Man.
Eating too much vagina can give you cancer.
There was literally no upside there whatsoever. And then I think the red sauce is probably the most fucking disgusting thing there. You know what's in that?
Ben. Like, people are queuing up for that thing. 3 minutes.
I'm so tired of backward people just like getting a free pass by saying something's a delicacy. That is a pig's vagina. Leave it alone.
I think it's so great. All right. So out of all the things Andile Mahlangu says, out of all the things you can eat, why would you eat pig vagina?
Like, why would you do that? Why? Like, why?
The AI voice takes it up a notch, says Grant.
It really does. It really does, because it's such a serious tone about the preparation as the guy's fingering the fucking living daylights out of it.
And he does it so many times as he's cleaning it and then has wow.
Oh wow. Yeah, I love it. Sango says pig vagina. It's the greatest. I'm gonna just isolate that clip where the guy goes, the pig vagina. Because he says it the same way every time. It's great.
Just to clarify, that's not on Uber Eats.
No,
yeah, please. You can't get that. Don't buy it. Don't eat that thing. You could die from it.
So that's going to put you off any breakfast plans that you had. And that's probably a good thing, because then you can be one of those intermittent fasters. You could maybe only have your first meal at 12. Wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you going to say? You're hungry for some pig vagina?
No.
Would you like to taste it, eh?
It's
so rubbery.
as horrific as that was, isn't it great that the internet can still shock us? Because I think I'm quite jaded and I don't queeze easy, but that was wow.
No, it's unbelievable. It really is.
Private part calamari. That is just
so bad. Okay, so let's get into a couple of things here, because the UK has had their first ever cyber farting conviction. So
what you going to do? What are you going to listen to messages?
Yeah, we're going to get
there wasn't a big intro in all of it.
Most of them are talking about pig vagina at the moment, but I thought this might be interesting to you. This is what is trending on X at the moment. You said that the internet can't shock you anymore. Well, yes, it can, and I'll tell you how. Rhiannon Evans, a 25-year-old woman from Wales, has pleaded guilty in what's being referred to as the UK's first cyber farting case. She sent multiple videos of herself passing gas to her boyfriend's ex-partner, an act deemed as causing distress and anxiety, needing her to be charged with harassment. The case highlights evolving legal boundaries in digital communications. So now you know why that was.
Shout out to her. I actually respect her.
you imagine how much like obsession stroke loathing stroke hatred you have to have for someone to film yourself passing gas and then like bombard some other person with those videos.
Very expressive person though.
No bad.
I wonder. I'm curious to hear like what her partner said about the ex. Like clearly, yeah, to a point for her to be like, you know what? I'm gonna deal with this person. I'm gonna deal with this person personally. I'm just gonna.
So bad. It's really bad.
And I'm not gonna do it once or twice.
Yeah. She's going to do it a couple of times and send all the videos. It's just unbelievable. So I don't know if you care about this at all, but also the Steve Harvey cheeseburger phenomenon is something that's going on at the moment. Simpiwe, you're always paying attention to trends and things. A viral image of a burger has taken the internet by storm. Upon squinting, you may perceive the likeness of Steve Harvey in it. So I'll show you what this is, because it's shame. I don't know if it looks like Steve Harvey, but maybe you think it will. This is what people are saying. They say that it originates from a post by Nums Music, and the image has led to a humorous trend where people share their reactions about the burger's arrangements of ingredients that looks a bit like Steve Harvey's face. Well, that's what people are saying. There it is. Do you see that? Right? There's the burger.
Totally.
If you squint a little, it's definitely him. Like it doesn't. The first time you look, it's like, oh. But that looks like him, right? Squint just a little. See what I mean? Move further away from the screen and you'll get the idea. All right. There it is. All right. So we don't care about that much. Yeah. That's fine. Okay. Back to the comments. We've got a couple of things here. Let's go to questions already asked in the comments, says Dirk. Okay. No one cares about the woman suing Lyft having an OnlyFans page. James, please send the photo to the team. All right, so we spoke about this on Wednesday. Is this enormous woman who weighs like 500 pounds, close to 280 kilograms. She weighs as much as, I think, a teenage hippopotamus is the comparison, and she was denied by a Lyft driver. When the car arrived and he saw her, he was like, I'm terribly sorry, I can't take you. You're not going to fit in my car. He had a normal sized car, by the way. And he was worried about his tires exploding because she's so enormous. So she decided to sue him. So she got the sleaziest lawyers she could. She's going to sue him, but she's going to sue Lyft for apparently millions and millions of dollars. And who knows? Let's see how this goes. But she's not ashamed, hey? She's not ashamed. She has no shame. You know how Simpiwe and Ben, you always talking about we need to bring back shame. This woman has no shame. She's proud of herself to the point where she thinks Lyft should be ashamed for not giving her a lift. That's who that's it.
Yeah, but in the words of Gary Player, she won't be around for many more years with that BMI.
No, she's not. She's going to be dying soon.
So she's just trying to get what she can out of her last few days on Earth.
But I want to understand, how do Americans have the krach to just sue left, right, and center? Like, you can see in the wrong, and also the guy has every right to protect his car. He knows his car. He knows very well. Some people, they drive cars, it looks good, but actually that thing is just, it's held by prayer, and he knows that like any little thing that's just, it might, breakdown. And he's protecting himself, he's protecting her, and now she has the audacity to be like, I'm going to sue for millions. Guys, I need that confidence.
I want those lawyers that she's working. I want them to put her in their car and let's see how they do, because she really is. She's like the size of minimum 4 people. Okay. And that's 4 people concentrated on one side of the car. Even if she sits in the middle, it's putting enormous strain. I mean, most cars are built, 4-seater cars for 4 people. She's more than 4 on her own, plus the driver. It's rapidly approaching its like maximum payload.
Sorry, I know this is probably because of things we've seen in the last 10 minutes, but if she sits in the middle, that means she's going to straddle her legs open wider. on a whoopee day, that could be another problem altogether.
Yep.
She's not eating pig's vagina as she's in the background.
You don't know that, right? You don't know.
I do think it's a great advertising opportunity for this car. This guy could wrap his car in Ozempic advertising, because he's famous now for weight issues. And this car is only for thin people.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And she's actually going to take them to court. She has no shame at all. I don't blame the driver. Imagine that hippo trying to get in the car. I mean, Simpiwe, you've got a nice car. You wouldn't put that lady in your car. She wouldn't fit.
I deny my friends when they already like a bit too drunk, and I'm like, yay, when you're not coming in my car, you're not gonna make it smell even like, So imagine a whole stranger who I don't know you, and all I see is just this. I guess Anna, you're staying behind. We're not doing that. We're not ruining my car.
I would like to pick up on what Dave has here. Right of admission reserved. You see it in most buildings. There used to be a sign, and that's something to be respected. So when you get those, like this, what was that whole thing about that cake? Wasn't the cake business didn't want to make it a transvestite cake or something?
They didn't want to do. There was like a Christian cake company, the Christian Bakehouse, and they wouldn't make a gay wedding cake.
Yeah. Okay. So cool, but that's their right of admission to reserve. It's just, guys, just fuck.
Look, I don't know why. If you want to have you want a gay marriage, you want a gay wedding. Why are you going to the Christian? It's like you're trying to antagonize them.
Yes.
Don't antagonize people. Like, I'm sure there is someone somewhere who doesn't have a problem with making a gay wedding cake. Or else you just order how about you just go to them and say, it's a normal wedding. They put the little man and the woman on top, and then you change that yourself to a man and a man.
But
right?
Or just give the components that will end up making the big cock.
Yeah. Like,
can I have 3 cakes, please? Here are the dimensions. Just separately, I'll do the rest.
I don't know. Anyway, I mean, I'm sure there's someone somewhere who'll do that for you. But yes, let's not ruin other people's cars by being so enormous that the wheels fall off like Mari biscuits.
Imagine.
Okay. Apparently here, a Bajaj weighs less than her, says Proper Gender. That's true. Someone actually asked on Wednesday, what if she got on a Bajaj?
No more Bajaj.
That thing is
We've got a question for Ben from Dirk. He says, Rob Hersov recently said the South African who's closest to Trump is actually Gary Player. They have a decades-long close relationship, and he is introducing influential South African expats to Trump. Do you know anything about this, Ben?
Not in the active activity of it, but no, Gary's been in America for a long time, obviously, because you had to go to win, and he's a winner. And yeah, I mean, people attract themselves to each other, right? I mean, Donald follows Gary on social media. They play golf from time to time. He gave Gary a special award for being an amazing person. I think it's the Amazing Person Award. And he's got very traditional values, does Gaza. He's obviously got a big family. He believes in merit, winning, and then just being a winner. So yeah, same person.
All right. Well, very good. I wouldn't mind being close to Trump right now. He's taking absolutely no shit. Did you see this yesterday? This is the kind of press conference that I could get used to this. I mean, the guy he doesn't care, right? When this guy, he just calls bullshit on people and actually uses the word. Listen to this quickly. I mean, you don't have to like him to respect the fact that he says what's on his mind. You always know where he stands.
Which is overseen by Secretary Pete Buttigieg. A real winner. That guy's a real winner. Do you know how badly everything's run since he's run this Department of Transportation? He's a disaster. He was a disaster as a mayor. He ran his city into the ground, and he's a disaster now. He's just got a good line of bullshit.
Right, great. Donald is everything so many people want to be, and they're just not honest enough to ever admit it. And people hate the fact he does what he does, and he can do what he does. People really need to own up to that now, and once they do, life is a lot more fun. Watching this guy, no matter what he does right now, is the most entertaining thing in the world.
Yeah, no, he really is. Can we, while we're talking about Gary, who's Donald's best friend, let's do a little bit of sport this morning. And I know that the Accrington Stanley fans especially will be on tenterhooks to find out whether there's a fixture for them this weekend. So, Ben, over to you with a little bit of sport.
Yeah, look, Accrington Stanley, I mean, they had a nice draw versus Cheltenham this last week just to consolidate the massive win against Crewe, obviously. So they're now 3 points ahead of the drop zone, which is a nice sigh of relief, you know, especially going into the February 15 comedy night that we spoke about a couple of weeks ago. But to more pressing things, of course, Gareth, it is the start of
This is the most pressing thing. Look at Simpiwe's face. She's suddenly into football since you brought up Accrington Stanley. Look at her.
But guys, I mean, like, I don't want to put too much pressure on them. You know, they're away to Port Vale tomorrow, which again is going to be a tough one. So, yeah, Port Vale, not to be confused with Pork Vale. They're a division below that. But we have to talk about Six Nations because it's rugby's biggest thing right now. There's so many great jokes around. Obviously, the Six Nations is the tournament for people who can't win World Cups. There's some fantastic banter around that. But ultimately, it comes down to Ireland versus France, the second team and the fourth best team in the world. They're the clear favorites to win this thing. But then England are going to be that sort of like that real cat amongst the pigeons in certain games, maybe as early as tomorrow. So the first big game of the tournament is Ireland versus England. Now, Ireland have the advantage of playing England and France at home for this tournament. So that kind of makes them, I wouldn't say joint favorites. I still think they're second favorites, but they've got 2 injuries in their forward pack. This English team has thrown away guys like Owen Farrell and George Ford, and some of those maybe handbrakes they've had in the past. They want to go full guns blazing. They've got Maro Itoje as their captain. I've got a good feeling about England being entertaining. If nothing else, they're going to be very entertaining of their absolute all because expectations are where they normally are for the English, kind of here-ish. So that'll be a massive game for the weekend. France, I think, are going to win because they've got Dupont and Intermac back as a starting 9-10 combo. They didn't have that last year. And this French team has to be good. For all the smoke that's been blown up these Oaks' asses for the last 18 months, it has to deliver somewhere. And the 2025 Six Nations is, I think, where it delivers. So they're going to be taking on the hapless Welsh tonight, 10:15. That's at home for the French. Scotland will take on Italy at 4:15. And the big game, as I said, tomorrow, Ireland versus England. That'll be it. 6:45. So the PSL is very difficult to follow. You don't get a lot of updates around here because like it's so sketchy. You know, CAF Continental, the big Champions League thing. Pirates are doing well.
So what do you mean it's sketchy? Like people don't know when the games are and who's playing.
No,
who?
I mean it's on, but you don't get like the blockbuster weekends. Like with momentum. It just seems like that the big teams are a little bit scattered. Obviously there's different times of the season where there's different emphasis. So then you've got the teams doing well in the continental African tournaments, and then you've got other guys that are just kind of here, like Magesi, who are kind of all over the place. But this weekend is highlighted by the big Soweto derby, and as much as Pirates is a far significant team nowadays, it still has that sort of that expectation that something decent is going to happen. I mean, Chiefs are currently 5th in the PSL log right now, so they're doing all right. But Chiefs they just haven't gone anywhere the last sort of 5-6 years, or 10 years, actually, if you want to be really critical, maybe even further. Whereas Pirates are pretty dynamic. They've got some really entertaining things that are coming through. They're good young players. So as much as Pirates are favorites tomorrow, at a packed FNB stadium, some of those young guys might be a bit deer in the headlighty because this is a massive cultural coming together as well. It's not just a football match. And obviously, in that instance, it's always recommended that fans get there nice and early because this game has a horrible habit of starting late. Because oaks just getting hammered in the car park, they relax, they come in at their own time. Guys, if you want to be an international fixture and be taken seriously, we need to start on time, get to your seat, get excited. This is a big game. Cherish the process. So that'll be tomorrow, Saturday, 3:30. And then there's also another bit, like all the sort of top 8 teams will be in action tomorrow in the PSL. Stellenbosch versus Sekhukhune, Polokwane versus Chippa United, TS Galaxy will be taking on Cape Town City, and Sundowns versus Golden Arrows. Those are all your weekend games for the PSL. The English Premier League just gets more and more exciting. It really does. Yes, Liverpool are ahead. They do have a great lead. James is very happy whenever he watches his team play. So excited. Look at him. He's thrust himself into the conversation with his smug face. And they are a good side, and they finished top of the Champions League. So the Champions League, the never-ending Champions League, concluded this week in the pool stages. Liverpool up top, even though they lost their last game, they're already so far ahead. Barcelona second, Arsenal third. And I don't care about any other teams after that, because as soon as Arsenal make the top 3 of something, that's it. Happiness.
But what about Man United? Come on now.
They that leagues and people. You watch your mouth. You don't bring them into such excellence like this. Jeepers. That's like talking about the greatest war generals of all time when you go, oh, what about Cyril? No. Stop it. Damn it. So Nottingham Forest have been an interesting story this year, of course. They are still third in the log. They beat Liverpool. They drew with Liverpool. But they got absolutely trousered last week by Bournemouth, 5-0. So they have to get back to where they were, because you always fear with a team like this, they kind of, a couple of results could make them skyrocket downwards as much as they came upwards. So they take you on that.
I have a question, Ben. So they're called Nottingham Forest, but as I recall from the Robin Hood books that I read as a child, Robin Hood was in Sherwood Forest, and Nottingham was where the evil sheriff of Nottingham, with all the taxes that he stole from people, used to live. So why didn't they call themselves Sherwood Forest? And they would have had more supporters, because they would have been on Robin Hood's side, and everybody loves Robin Hood.
But Gareth, ultimately, Robin Hood was a thief, and I think this football club don't want to be known as thieves. And they also tax their fans heavily, and they also have an effigy for Robin Hood before every single match. Little known fact there. Yeah, that's how they start their games. So Nottingham Forest, they will be taking on Brighton. Brighton have only lost 5 times this year, but they do have a knack of making many, many draws. Still, solid game to start on Saturday at 2:30. Newcastle are not going away. They're taking on Fulham at 5. And then Bournemouth, the team that's doing so well somehow. It's a bit like watching cats do things in sequence from time to time. It's not guaranteed, but when they get it right, they get it right. Bournemouth versus Liverpool, 5 o'clock on Saturday. The big, big game everyone cares about. Obviously, Sunday, Arsenal hosting Man City, 6:30. It's a big game for Arsenal because Man City are still ripe for the taking, but they've been, Man City-ish of late. They've been getting big wins. But if Arsenal win this, then they can still say they've got a chance at the title. James, don't you dare laugh. All right, and then it's the last weekend of the SA20 before we move into the very strange and confusing playoffs. So if you are in the Pretoria area, Pretoria Capitals tonight, 5:30. What a lekker way to start payday weekend. They'll be taking on the MI Cape Townians. Saturday, Sunrise at Eastern Cape. I don't know if they're going down or they're going up, but they're teetering a bit, as are the Paul Royals.
I don't know about Sunrise in the Eastern Cape, but I see sunrise rising in your eyes. You're squinting quite a lot there, Ben. Basically,
it's in my face. Yeah, I told you guys, I'm in the sun.
By the way, James, is Flex still there?
He is. He's on the phone, though, but he is here.
All right, he's doing things. All right, so, Ben, you are staring into the sun.
Yeah. But I'm also just trying to deliver the sport before I get completely brightened out.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, so last weekend of the group stages for the SA20. So Sunrisers Eastern Cape, they'll be taking on the Paul Royals, who did finish top. And then Joburg Super Kings had a great win yesterday. They'll be taking on the already out of the tournament Durban Super Giants. That'll be Saturday. And then Sunday, last game in Cape Town. It's a bit shitty. Like the Cape Town Royals or the MI Cape Town, once you play your pool games, that's it. You don't get playoffs. So these are the 2 best teams in the tournament, and they're going to need to go up country to play their matches. The top 2 teams actually are the MI Cape Town and Paul Royals. They'll play next week in the first game in Quebec. That'll be the first knockout match. And the winner of that goes into the grand final. The loser then plays the 3rd and 4th place team winners. But we'll get into that next week. And then, of course, we obviously can't leave out the women's sport, the heavily plagiarized women's Ashes that's taking place right now. They're playing a one-off day-night test match, and England, well, they're getting shat on again. They only scored 170. The Aussie women, they just rollicking along at 120 for 2. And then there's the SA women's under-19 cricket team. Now, they've been playing this most strange tournament in Malaysia where it rains every 3 minutes. So the pool stages were basically like hit and hope, 5, 6, 7, 8 over matches. I mean, they played against Western Samoa. I think they bowled them out for 18 or something stupid. But they're in the semis, and they're about to actually win against Australia. Yeah, go SA women under 19. They bowled the young Sheilas out for 105. No, sorry, 105 for 8 is what they scored. And they currently need 30 runs from 60 balls. That's good. That's good. That's the semi, which means they get into a final, and then they might just actually win a final and embarrass every other senior SA cricket team who cannot do
that. Ben, there's a question for you here from Bitcoin Butts. Says, Ben, what's your prediction for next weekend's fight, Drickus or Sean?
Drickus, second round submission, win.
Thank God.
It's almost like you had that answer prepared.
Well, he's got too much firepower for that. And in the first fight, he was feeling his way out. First in a title fight, and secondly against a guy who's all volume with not major knockout appeal. So Drickus has got he'll have a game plan, and he knows that Strickland can't really hurt him to the point where he'll knock him out or really rock him. So he can take a few more risks in this fight. And I think a few more risks with Drickus means he'll close the distance quite well. He'll stun him or hit him pretty hard with something. And as we saw in the Adesanya fight, then he moves in for that submission and he doesn't get the credit he deserves. But that oak will maul the cuck out of anybody. And Strickland, I mean, all of these guys at the top level, they all have grappling and wrestling and all that kind of ability. But you get an angry Dutchman who likes being champion on your back, you are fucked. And it's as simple as that. And no American will ever know this until it happens to them. And then it's like, well, shit. And then it's too late. And that's too late.
Right. That's right. Drickus will take him to the ground in the second he agrees. So there we go. You two are of one mind here. Okay, so here's an interesting thing from Gray, also about sport. Ben, have you watched the Darts League in the UK? Apparently it's brilliant. They've turned it into a real spectacle. You have to see it.
Yeah, it really is. Over the festive season, there was the World Champs, and there was quite a bit of drama because the guy who won is a teenager. And, it's a bit of this young upstart coming into the old man's game of darts.
Right.
But he did it, eh? World champ. They have this factory, basically. It's like a big barn. And then they shove people in there. They all get dressed in fancy dress. They all get absolutely shit-faced. It's so hard to get tickets. And then they dart. They go. But yeah, they don't smoke when they dart anymore. They don't drink. It's all very professional. Guys are drinking Powerades and.
Who would have guessed? Darts. Maybe that's a fun thing for you and Flex to take up, James.
What, darts?
Yeah, you and Flex could take up darts. You could become.
Don't you need some level of hand-eye coordination to do so?
Oh,
yeah,
point.
And you can't see, so you're already out.
So, James. Just so much masculine energy coming through on that response, huh?
Oh, beautiful. All right. So what we've got in the next little while, we've got so many things that we still want to do. Thanks, Ben. That's a good look at the sport for the weekend. Just a few things that I still want to get to. It's been 9 years since I beat up multi-choice, which I always love to celebrate by just showing a picture of us winning and how much it cost them. And here's just a picture of me with my legal team after we fucked them up. I just want everybody to see that again, just because it's nice to win. And even though it's 9 years, it's 9 years that to the day today since we beat them.
The bottom part, you haven't changed.
You don't think so?
Yeah. Like the top part, you can tell you're young, and then the bottom part's like, oh, okay, cool, you've grown, but you now and that haven't changed.
All right, well, thank God for that. And meanwhile, here's someone who has changed a bit. This is a picture of Ben's hero, King Charles. There he is, standing in the library at Balmoral. He's ready. He's ready. He's ready to take on 2025. He's had a nice long holiday. He and Camilla, fresh from some Ayurvedic medical retreat or something.
Wow.
That face is not convincing.
I've never liked Charles. He's never really done it for me. Huh?
No, I'm sorry. I think he's terrific.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, he's no Gary Player.
I mean, who are you comparing him to? I always go compared to what? So in golf, no, he's definitely got no Gary Player. In
silly comparison.
I mean, like, who are you going to compare him to? Like other kings? Aren't there that many?
I don't really compare people to judge their worth. I just think that Charles is, I just never did it for me. I mean, I got to say, after watching The Crown, he went up in my estimations, but they were still very low. And that's ultimately where they are. Maybe it's because I'm just not a horse person.
If you heard that he supported Accrington Stanley,
he doesn't. He doesn't. See, I mean, now you are trying to bestow false valor on him. Don't you just come here and start throwing Accrington Stanley memberships around here like they're free, Cliff? You got to earn that shit.
I'm buying us all Accrington Stanley shirts, whether you like it or not. All right, so quickly before we get to our break at 7, couple of things we want to talk about. Ben was in the Cape and he found an interesting new place that he wants to tell us about. These places are usually only for Cape Townians. They don't want us to know about them. And when you find out about them, because what happens is that then people from everywhere else in South Africa and the world, they start going there. The place becomes too popular, and then the Cape Townians are like, "Oh no, I can't do this anymore. It's too commercial." Those people have ruined it, and they don't want us there. So we're gonna spill the beans on that, which will be lots of fun. Simpiwe has also got a new Afrikaans Uber to tell us about. It's called Vanatu, and we're gonna hear all about that. Also, there could be new speed limits in South Africa. That's what they're saying, which scares the hell out of me because I think we're already full of too many slow drivers on the highways. But then, I've got the traffic fines and the arrest warrants to prove it. So all of that and more on the way. It's just before 7. We'll be back in just a second. Ben, Simpiwe, you and I, and the producers. There they are. There's James. Yeah, there we go. Producer James, and Flex is still on the phone in the background. Yeah, I know. I know you guys are working. I can tell. There he is. Okay. Very good. Both in football shirts, by the way, Ben.
Yes.
What team is that you have on?
This is Juventus. Ben actually got me the shirt, by the way.
Very nice.
Yeah. And that's Sundowns.
Sundowns for Flex.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Very good. Thank you. There we go. Sundowns. See you in a minute.
I don't have any issues with people sleeping around. If you're wanting a strong relationship, it can't be started on the basis of we meet today, tomorrow we're sleeping together.
It used to be you'd go out somewhere social, you'd meet someone, you'd exchange numbers, and then you'd almost go on a series of dates before you even thought about sleeping together or taking things to the next step. This was in the age of models. That age is dead. Because now it's very fast. I can go on Tinder and I can find 2 things real quick because I'm cute. I can go out to the club and I can package 1 table there because they're drinking Savannas. You check what I'm saying? Yeah. They're within my budget, PH can go, he can operate because it's a champagne table. Yeah, bo? It depends on the man.
Indy 500, where you at with that? I've just, I've never understood it, but shout out to the milk.
Indy 500, 25th of May. Now, I'm bringing this up because this is actually, they say this is the single biggest sporting event, motorsport event of the year. Check the size of that trophy, okay? That's the Borg Warner Trophy, I think it's called. Borg Warner Trophy. What do you think that trophy's value is?
Just break it down for me. I have no idea.
That trophy is valued at $3 million, okay? It stands...
It looks like that.
It looks like... So, if you win, your face goes on the trophy. Actually, they put your face on it. Yeah, this thing is so cool. the Borg Warner Trophy is so ginormous. This has been going since 1911, the Indy 500.
Alrighty, welcome back. Simpiwe has just gone off to the loo, but Ben is back and he's eaten his morning helping of pig vagina, and everybody's ready. Yes. Yeah, there we go.
I went quite light on the red sauce though.
Is Flex working on, this is from Dirk, is Flex working on his payday bonus? Why is he on the phone so much?
That's what I was thinking, Dirk. Yeah, he is. And he's trying to
Valentine's is coming.
organize one for James.
Valentine's is coming. Valentine's is coming.
That's right.
Where's your boyfriend?
That's right.
That's
It's the
what
month
he's
of
saying.
love from tomorrow, right? Month of love.
Mm-hmm.
Very exciting.
Mm-hmm. He's
All right,
in that
Ben.
honeymoon stage where, you know, you're on the phone for 3 hours and you're just like, I'm good. I'm just working. Oh my gosh. You know, and you talk for like hours and hours. Yeah, that's what he's doing.
By the way, are you just as annoyed as I am when somebody video calls you and you're not, you don't want a video call, you're not expecting a video call? It drives me off the wall, right? Am I a pain in the backside for that?
Oh no, I decline.
It's very selfish.
I decline and say voice call. Why do you have to see my face? No.
Also, they always phone when you're busy with something. You're driving, or you just got out of the shower, or whatever. You can't answer that call. Video
We need to
calls.
schedule video calls. That is my thing with my friends. You tell me up front, hey, can I video call you at 5 o'clock? Yes or no. Otherwise, it's just a normal call. I will decline it. I will say back to sender, and then it's just audio. Like, why do you need to see my face? Why?
Couldn't agree more. Okay, so a couple of things that we've got to get to. So Ben's going to spill the beans on what a new cool place in Cape Town could be. I've never heard of this place before. Apparently, it's right like where everybody goes in Cape Town, but it's just slightly hidden away. And you had a lot of fun there by the looks of things.
So, guys, it's an old place. It's like old. It's the Oceana Powerboat Club.
The what?
Exactly. It's got a very glamorous name, but basically, it's like you know where the Grand is in Cape Town. That fancy,
the Grand Beach Club. Yeah.
A pretentious place where all the waiters look down on you no matter what you buy. You can never tip them enough. They're a bunch of pricks, and you can go stand in the sand with like guys who just have lots of money. Right next door to it is a dingy place where you smell car fumes. It's mostly concrete.
Fuck's sake. Oh my God. Is that cat all right?
Oh, he's knocking the treat jar down. It's going to smash one day, and then there'll be tears. So this place is amazing, right? You rock up there, and people sort of like birth their little boats out of there. And it's so tucked away, but it's beautiful because it's like an old sports club. So you go inside and there's like names of people who've won, I don't know, powerboat races or some shit. But it is so incredibly cheap. Like if you go to the Grand, I don't know, it's like 120 Rand for a beer or whatever. So there was three of us. It was me, my brother, and his girlfriend. For three of us, we had 8 drafts and 3 main courses, and we paid 730 Rand.
What?
It's right next door. So instead of being an idiot, see, this is where we get suckered by Cape Town, because they have the place that we all know about, that we all go to. We have to spend our money there, and they laugh as they take the money away from us. They put it in their pockets and they laugh. Meanwhile, next door, all the Cape Townians are getting quality stuff at like a half the price.
It's so fun. I mean, like I've been to very, very nice places in my life. I mean, I'm quite old, so I've experienced a lot. So I like a dingy door from time to time. It really is, because I mean, ultimately, like it's the same keg of beer that they're pouring stuff out of, and the calamari, I got to say, was good. I don't normally eat fried food, but this stuff was good. and you look out, and then you're basically in the harbor. You get all the views, all the kind of good stuff, and then there's this little headland that juts out, and there's this really like strange structure that's been built there. It's like a lookout deck, so you can take your girlfriend there and propose if you want. It's just special. I shared some pictures with you guys.
Oh, yeah. We've actually got a little video here. Let me just go to that quickly.
Just two more. Two more. That's when you know. And also my guy.
I mean, it's all happening, really.
People
What's
are doing
happening?
push-ups.
Guys, but the thing is, like, when the booze is cheap, you also get entertainment.
I like finding out about places like this because I just don't see why we have to pay Gauteng prices. In fact, no, sorry, Cape Town in-season prices when the Cape Townians themselves aren't. So it's like these hidden gems. I love it. Ben's giving us intel here. Of course, you're never going to be invited back there again.
No, probably not. I mean, I'll be blackballed out of there. But, if you just go there in moderation, don't take lots of mates. You can also braai there. I mean, this is funny, right? Again, we're on the Atlantic seaboard, the most expensive part of Cape Town, but you can go and take your own fucking meat and braai there if you really want to.
That's amazing.
If you really want to make a day of it, you can take your own umbrella. It's all concrete, so it's quite hard. But you can go and put your lilo in the pool. You can braai, and then you just order drinks from the bar.
I see why they hit this place.
Again, it's also going to get bulldozed relatively soon because they're doing a huge expansion of that whole thing. But it's like everything around there is so pretty, and then this place, it looks like it's not a dump. I mean, like the staff are amazing; they're super friendly. They've all got like branded outfits and stuff. It's a clean, good, fantastic place. I wouldn't make it every Friday of my life, but wow, it was so fun for this one-off.
All right,
Love
very
it.
good. Is there anything you want to tell us on the East Rand that we might have missed out on, Sipiwe?
Is there a powerboat club there?
Nah, the East Rand is the East Rand. Like, it's not changing anytime soon.
But you guys do have that East Rand waterfront or whatever it's called.
Yeah, we have like Lakeside Mall. No, there's it's in Benoni. It's Lakeside Mall. You can go to the mall and then see
That's the one that looks like a
lake,
boat.
which is very
Yeah, that's the one.
It's cringe.
All right.
So
Was there any pig vagina on the menu for the Cape Townians?
No, guys, no pig vagina. It was succulent calamari. But I had the most awesome touristy Cape Town weekend. I actually physically climbed Taylor Mountain. I walked up the front through the Plattekloof Gorge. Some people might still be there, judging by the fact they weren't prepared for it. But it was so fun. And you get to the top, and then you see all these tourists just having a great time. I took the cable car for the first time, I think, since junior school.
Huh.
I swam in the ocean. I didn't get bilharzia. It was just, and then I went to the cricket with some friends. It was just such a day.
So did you go for your cold plunge in the Atlantic Ocean? Did you do that at Graaf's Pool that we've spoken about?
No, Graaf's Pool isn't really. It's a bit of an awkward place to get to, and you can't swim. No, you go to a beach. Like there's places you can swim.
Okay.
But yeah, it took us an hour to climb up this fucking gorge, which was very difficult. But then, get into the water afterwards, you don't get stiff. I went to gym on Monday, and I'm still stiff from that, just from a leg exercise. But cold ocean, it's therapeutic. I felt better after like a 20-minute body surfing session than I do after an hour massage.
Wow. Okay, that's quite
there's something about being thrown around in like natural Atlantic Sea cold water. It's just brilliant.
Okay, and the cricket was fun too, because that's always a cool thing to do. My brother went with his kids to, I think it was a school night this week, and I saw he posted a picture of him and his kids on the family WhatsApp group. That was nice.
Yeah, at Newlands it's really cool because you go next door to Kelvin Grove. It's like that members club next door. So again, like just having drinks by the pool, and you walk across. It's a beautiful stadium. Unfortunately, Durban Supergiants were really shit, so the game wasn't that great. But still, it's just so much fun. But that's what Cape Town is, right? It's a great destination to go to.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you saw the best of it in one weekend. All right. So, Sims, back to the East Rand. People talking about the Lakeside Mall, but you've got two things here for us, and both of them are, I think, pretty important. First one is there's a new Lyft stroke Uber stroke taxi business on the horizon, but it's for Afrikaans people. They're not saying it's only for Afrikaans people, but you have to be able to speak Afrikaans to drive the cars or something.
Yes. So there's like a new Afrikaans Uber company in South Africa, and they're giving the likes of Uber and Bolt a run for their money. It's called Vaanatu. Hope I said it right.
I've seen a few of their cars, actually. I've seen them around, and I was like, what the hell's that? And then, because it looks like Wanatu. It looks Wanatu. And then you figure out, no, you meant to say Vaanatu, like you just did.
Yeah, so it launched in Pretoria and Centurion, and the signups have been increasing. So they started with like about 10,000, now they're on 30,000. And yeah, they basically like saying this is for everybody. Everybody is welcome to use the service, but the policy is that their drivers have to speak Afrikaans. And what makes them so cool and different is that they have like really high quality vehicles, which comes with a dash cam, an inward facing camera, GPS tracking devices, a two-way radio system, and a panic button. So yeah. Like,
sounds good.
I don't know if you guys would like order Vaanatu, but
Yeah,
it's a new
I would, because I reckon
company.
they would know exactly where Stoetbal is.
Oh, for sure. No, for sure. There's some things that you just know you've got to rely on Afrikaans people for. And I don't have any problem with this. As Grace says in the comments, how many, black business forums and black management forums and Portuguese clubs and Italian clubs and Greek clubs. And now, why can't they have their Afrikaans ride business? Maybe you don't want someone who doesn't understand you and you want to speak Afrikaans. I mean, we can have a Zulu one, right? We can have a Zulu one.
The Zulu one is taken already. It's taxi drivers. That's the
anybody with like a half decent mind and brain understands that niche is a big way of being good in business. So that's a great niche. And from what I understand is, with Uber and Bolt, all these kind of places, you bring your car to the business. Here, they own all the cars, and then they basically hire appropriate drivers. So there's none of this like sleeping in your car. The car smells like feet. You're a Bolt driver, and you're an Uber driver, and you're also a human trafficker, whatever. You are a Vaanatu driver.
Yes.
Well, it's very impressive that they went from like 10,000 signups in their first couple of days to 30,000. The growth there is enormous. There are not a lot of apps, let alone actual businesses with people paying money that can boast that kind of growth. So good luck to them. I think that's great. But what is this nonsense about speed limits?
Yeah. So if you are like me, who believes the fast lane needs to be for everybody who just likes breaking the law, you're going to feel a bit annoyed with this one, because they proposing the Road Traffic Management Corporation is proposing that like we limit or like go down with the speed limits by 10 kilometers. So if the limit is 120, it should be 110. If it's a 60 zone, it must be 50. And I'm just like, what the heck? Because already if you're on the highway, you're not driving 120. We're already doing 140, 160, on the fast lane, I mean. So now, yeah, I'm not happy about it, but they're proposing it, and the government is saying, yeah, we actually might do it.
They just don't have any original ideas. I mean, how long have they been making new rules about smoking for? First, it started off with you can't do tobacco advertising. Then they realized, okay, we can actually make this happen. So let's try another thing. Now we'll also put horrible messages on the cigarette box. Then we'll make every restaurant, bar, venue in the country non-smoking zones. And they start, if they find out, if the government finds out they can do something, they just keep doing that one thing. It's like a one-trick pony. What we've got to do is what we did with e-tolls, because when they see that they can't get any with us, they just give up. Once they see they can't get your money or they can't make you follow their rule, then they just give up. And the more government gives up, the happier I am, right?
Yeah. But I just personally, who drives at 50? Like, if we're being honest, who's going to drive 50 kilometers per hour. Like, that's not going to work.
Yeah,
I think it's very dumb. It's a very dumb suggestion or thing that they want to put in place. Lower the price of petrol. Finish and clear. That's it. That's all we need. And then we'll be fine.
All right, very good. Quentin is about to come up with something horribly racist here. He's going to come up with a colored Uber service just now. We're going to find out what that is. And then people want a safe, reliable, clean service. Uber is hit and miss. That's what Ben was saying just a moment ago. Do the taxi drivers speak Afrikaans? What, in like taxis?
No, they speak Zulu.
And then Snai wants to know, I moved to Centurion last year in July. I noticed the people here don't consider Centurion to be part of Pretoria. Gareth, you're smart, so I trust you. Is Centurion in Pretoria or a separate town? Anybody else want to have a go at this? I mean, I don't really have a strong position on whether it's... Technically, it's part of Tshwane. I mean, like when we vote, our municipality in the municipal elections is Pretoria, is Tshwane. So, like, technically, Centurion's part of Pretoria, but it's kind of a huge, big city on its own. I mean, it's like I think it's the 4th or 5th biggest city in South Africa, if you don't include it in Tshwane. So I don't know, Ben. You've traveled between Midrand, Johannesburg, Centurion.
It's like calling Sandton's not Joburg. You know, it's like Randburg's not Johannesburg, but it kind of is. We have these little, I don't know, these little sort of concentrations of places that have their own name. Yeah, Centurion in its own right is Centurion. And it's also great. It's great to be fiercely loyal about random shit in this world. So yeah, you stand up for yourself as Centurion. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah. See, I think that's maybe why Snai asked the question, because I don't think anyone is really that into Centurion. Like, I don't know anybody who's like wearing shirts saying proudly Centurion.
Until now, guys, we just talked about how important niches are in businesses. Start a Centurion clothing line.
I don't know who buy it today.
Matthew says that I see Centurion in Pretoria is one place now. Hermine, being very rude, says Centurion is to Pretoria like Orkney is to Klerksdorp. Pumlani says like Uitenhage PE, different towns, same municipality. And Congo Chris says it's just a neighborhood with main character syndrome. And Beth making a good point that Midrand is just the forgotten middle child. That's about right. Okay. Let's talk about this quickly. I really think that the speed limit thing is dumb. But let's talk about this situation that broke out in the UFC yesterday. I even saw Dana White, just before I went to sleep last night, berating this dude. But I don't know anything about the context, so maybe Ben can help us out here. What happened?
Bryce Mitchell. So
yeah, that's the guy.
So this guy, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he's probably homeschooled, but he also he lives in a small farm, and he almost looks like a heel, like he's a redneck hillbilly sort of heel, but that's actually who he is. He's like a massive Bible sort of bashing kind of character. And he started out in the UFC pretty well, but then he got absolutely puss-clapped by this guy called Josh Emmett, one of the most scary knockouts I've ever seen live. And he hit this oak so hard, that was it. I think something left his soul that one day. But that's been over a year now, and he hasn't quite been right since then, I think. He was always a bit quirky, he was always a bit weird, but now he's mouthing off about shit that is just so hectic.
I think we got a clip here of the hit that you're talking about now, where he got knocked. And this could explain a lot. So maybe we watch that first, and you'll hear what he said that's just unhinged.
Yeah.
I really do think before Hitler got on meth, he was a guy to go fishing with. He fought for his country. He wanted to purify it by kicking the greedy Jews out that were destroying his country and turning them all into gays. They were gaying out the kids. They were queering out the women. They were queering out the dudes. You know what her first tranny surgery ever was? Happened to be in Germany before Hitler took over. You know the books that everybody makes fun of Hitler burning? You know what the books was? Queer books. Hitler burned queer books because Hitler didn't want a bunch of queers destroying his nation. They can't produce children.
Oh, Wow, that guy. It's the Jews
Queer
and the
book.
queers. You're gonna burn some queer books. Is that guy for real? I mean, that's like racism first edition, right? It's like anti-Semitism first edition. I bet you if you'd got him onto the blacks, he would have been like, yeah, well, I don't think that slavery is such a bad thing no more either.
There was
How
so
is he
much.
up?
There was so much like the first few lines of that. It's like he obviously the gold standard of if you're a good oak is you can go fishing with him. But he did preface it by saying before meth. So pre-meth Hitler was post-meth Hitler. He's not on board.
Wow. Okay, so obviously this is now this is big shit because you can't. Yeah, it's just like you have to have, as Ben said earlier, you have to have your soul knocked out of you to go on a podcast and talk like this. I often say that like the demand for racism outstrips the supply, but this is like old school. This is the kind of stuff you just don't hear and see anymore. So what's happened? What has Dana White said about this?
I don't know. I only saw this yesterday, and I just thought it was funny because I remember that knockout so clearly. That's why I sent it through to James. But also, I think the biggest question here is, what did the guy sitting next to him say after that? Because his face is looking like he's being forced to eat a pig vagina. That guy's face is like he's just discovered pig vaginas for dinner. He does not where to look. He's squirming.
Oh, it's so bad. It is so unbelievable, right?
So I don't know. I don't think there are many Jews in the UFC, but it'd be pretty funny if, like, his next fight had to have some sort of connotation, like some Krav Maga like expert is now going to be in the cage with him.
Yeah. So Dana White said he's not going to punish him. He said in response, "That's the beautiful thing about this business. For all of you who hate him, you get to see him hopefully get his ass whooped on global television." So yeah.
But this is another great example of like we should never try suppress these people. Out themselves, it's entertaining. Everyone sees them for who they are, and we carry on with our lives.
Absolutely, no harm done. I mean, no one's suddenly going to like have a heart attack and die because of something he said. But at least we know how he really feels about stuff, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a popular podcast that weekend, eh?
Oh,
whatever the podcast is called, I'm actually going to try to find it.
That episode's going to get lots of downloads, but for all the wrong reasons. That dude has been eating the sow pussy marinated in meth, says Kevin Harris, cutting straight to the chase.
Well said, Kevin.
Yeah, and then if Gilbert Gottfried was still alive, he would have had another Jew hater to add to his list. Hey, listen, that's that. I hate to say it because it's really terrible, but like Jew hating is inflated. It's en vogue again. It's popular. It's growing. It's terrific. You know?
I've heard a lot of anti-Semitic stuff in the last sort of few years, obviously, because as you said, people think it's okay, but I've never heard queering up people. I didn't think that was the Jews.
And burning the queer books.
I didn't think the Jews had the queer books. I don't even know what the queer books are yet, but again, that's levels for me, huh?
No, he's knowledgeable with the times because those are the it words, right? That's what we all talk about, being queer and all of this. And he's like, oh, this makes sense. This is what happened back in the day.
What a story, though. Jeez, I just, it is kind of in some way refreshing to know that there are truly backward people in the world, and we need to see them. Let's keep them out there. I mean, Slippery Pickle says, and rightly so, I like my Nazis out in the open. They should be allowed to fly flags on their lawn. Then we'll know who they are. We can stay away from their houses.
Yeah. The devil, it's better to know the devil you know, hey?
Yeah.
Than the devil you don't. So,
spot on. Hey. Couldn't agree more. All right, so Sims, there's something else that you wanted to tell us about. You want to take this with your little addition to the menu for this morning?
Yeah, sure. So we've all watched The Simpsons. Oh, wait, am I saying it right? The Simpsons,
yeah.
Yes, sorry, I'm thinking I'm saying it wrong. Yes.
It's simply where. Go on.
Yes, so we've all watched it and we've seen like over the years that they've made predictions and have, well, at the time we didn't know that predictions that they would get correct. We just thought, oh, it's a cartoon. What do they know? And yet they've gotten a lot of things right. But I recently found out that the guy who created it, firstly, he was just like, oh, wouldn't this be funny if this happened? So for him, this was all a joke. He's just like, ah, this would be so funny if this truly happened. And it seems like life is kind of like mimicking what he's doing, and it's all like a big joke for him. And he's said that, oh, everything that he's basically sketched in his mind has been a joke. Like he never thought any of these things would happen. And seeing it come to life, he's just like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe how crazy the world is going.
So his name is Matt Groening, and he started The Simpsons. And he has, it does look to me and to many people, you often see this in social media, people are like, oh, another prediction from The Simpsons. I mean, like they predicted Trump coming down the escalator. I mean, it's uncanny. It's wild. It's almost as if, and you know, these people who say we live in a simulation.
Yeah. So it was interesting to kind of see him come out and just be like, no, he was just like thinking like, what's the craziest thing I could come up with? And life has basically turned out that way. And he's basically said like, even like going forward with some of the new things that they're going to produce, that he's just like going to be writing jokes. And if it comes to pass, great stuff. Life has really gone left.
Did you hear about this book by this brings together the Nazis from just like 5 minutes ago and what you're talking about. There's a book that was written by Werner von Braun, who was a German scientist who worked for the Nazis, and then the Americans gave him safe passage to America, and he started working on American space rockets, the Saturn V and all the rest of it. So Werner von Braun, you can look him up, very, very well-known guy. I didn't know this, but he wrote a fiction book about man taking over Mars. And this is in the 1940s, 50s. Apparently, the first king of Mars in his book, guess what his name is?
Elon.
Yep. Now tell me, I mean, so apparently, like the backstory is that Elon's dad read that book as a kid and that he might have, like, you know, decided to call his son Elon because of that. But either way, even if you call your son Elon, what are the chances that he's going to be a guy who makes rockets and wants to get to Mars? It's just bizarre.
Yeah, it's like, but it's also interesting to like figure out or see how like someone could be like, oh, this could never happen, and think about it, and then like years later it actually happens and they don't get to see it, which is the sad part. But it's also like, wow, like can people actually predict the future, or do we create it? It makes you question so many things about like, you know, is time traveling a real thing? But like, could I write a joke about something and then like in 10 years time it comes to pass? Interesting.
I don't know if this is true, but Matt Groening has South African ties, says Congo Chris. It could have been that his dad was a Safa. Jared disagrees. He says his dad was Canadian. He was named Homer, which is funny. But you know that the talk in the town in America at the moment is that South Africans are running the world. You know this? Have you heard this conspiracy theory? Because there's Elon, guys like David Sachs, there are people like David Friedberg, there are a whole lot of South Africans, expats mostly, Vinnie Lingham. These are the kind of people who are secretly running the world. They are in with Donald Trump, people like Gary Player, I suppose.
Gary, here we go. It took us 8 minutes to get back to him.
Ben was falling asleep until I brought up Gary Player.
Yeah,
but
you done well there.
They say we're actually running the world. So I say, let them think that, right?
Yes. We also saw it with the TikTok ban for like all of 3 minutes, where the Americans were gone. South Africa, I think, was the next biggest. They had the next biggest users in Africa. I think like over 17 million South Africans are on TikTok, and they were like, "This is your time to shine. Like this is the most in Africa for users." So it was also that thing of like, okay, without America, South Africa in terms of content creators could be the next big thing.
Dirk says, can South Africans maybe run South Africa first? Yeah. And then they bring up Charlize, they bring up Princess Charlene of Monaco. You know, they say that we're doing a lot.
God, I know you guys know Halle Berry. Just Google Halle Berry and how she looks right now at her big age of like 60 something, and just look how fine she has not aged a single bit.
Okay, Halle Berry now. I've always thought she was beautiful. Okay, let's take a look.
But she has not changed. Like she's still like Halle Berry. Like,
oh no, she's.
6 years ago.
Okay, let me just put this picture up for everybody to see. Sure. Nothing wrong here. My goodness.
And I think she's like 60 something.
Yeah, she's 58.
Some people are just beautiful, and they don't need any help. They don't need you to say it. They just are, right? This woman's just magnificent. I mean, apparently she's had like the most horrible love life ever. That's what people keep telling me. But she's gorgeous.
She hasn't married a South African yet. That's why.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Let me find.
I don't
this
think
picture.
she should. She's
There we
fine.
go. Look at her.
Oh,
yes. No,
gorgeous as ever. Aging like fine wine. Like when I grow up, I want to look like her.
I thought you were going to tell me that I thought you were going to say that she had a South African connection.
Oh no, I was just having a bit of a moment of like, oh, Halle Berry. She's like old now. You know, well, she's considered old in Hollywood terms, but she still looks gorgeous. Like hot.
Snaya says, don't you love that South Africans are not worried about any of our people being deported from the US? One thing about us is we behave when we move to other countries. I think that's mostly true. You agree?
Yeah, because we're trying to make money. Like we're trying to do things and trying to get ahead. We're very ambitious people, or just survivalists, really.
Yeah, you know, but I think it's also I think it's also because it's a you're not home. You're not comforted by the fact that even if like things bum out, like government will save you. That side, like no one's going to save you. Like you have no money, you're going to be homeless. They'll probably send you back when your visa is expired or something like that. So you have to do, a law-abiding citizen. But there's also been 1 or 2 cases where South Africans went that side and they were not law-abiding. I know. An essay artist, was it Malum Cool Cat? He went overseas and then started misbehaving, and then they sent him back, and then he was behaving here at home. So it's one of those things.
Oh wow! So this is quite something. I don't know. Somebody says here, I would eat pig vagina every day. Yeah, it's I mean, if it made me look like Halle Berry at that age.
Yeah, fair comment. Maybe that's what she does. Actually, Halle Berry's miraculous new diet exposed. And there
Can we talk about Zac Efron? On the other hand, he's got a totally new face. Have you seen what Zac Efron looks like now?
Yeah, but that's the guy who he put too many chemicals into his body. A lot of the stuff isn't for free. Hey, I mean, you can take steroids and all these kind of things, but they will get you. Don't fuck with your hormones in life.
Yeah, you're right, Ben. It can really screw you up. But also, don't get plastic surgery if you don't need it, right? Just stick to your knitting. I mean, is this controversial? I don't think so.
But for people in Hollywood, it is, because if they're not doing drugs, they're doing surgeries, they're putting something in their bums or eyes or knees, or, they want to be at the forefront of technology. You just saw how he looked.
I think you'll find it's not them putting things in their bums. I think that's a different sort of undertaking altogether. But I mean, once you're in the entertainment industry, you've got to look a certain way. Look at him. He looks like he's just had a puffy.
That's not good.
I mean, everyone gets puffy when they're older, but I mean, that's...
you know what that is? That's like the good-looking girl or guy from school, and then you see them at the reunion, and you're like, okay, not a problem.
Yeah, getting old sucks, but I mean, at least he looks better than Simon Cowell, though.
Congo Chris says that Justin Bieber is starting to look like Nosferatu. I don't know if that's right. I haven't seen any pictures of him. Zach is handsome, says Snaya. Had the biggest crush on him during the High School Musical days. Just be well groomed, says Lee, and look after yourself. Other than that, leave what God gave you alone. Yeah.
That too.
Absolutely.
Because ultimately you end up with people who also aren't that good looking. So don't always think that you've got to stay good looking. Sometimes you got to just realize where your lane is.
That's right. I said this the other day on social media, and I got a lot of heat for it. Let me just read you the actual text of the thing. I said, you know what? Maybe you are getting what you deserve, and you actually don't deserve anything more.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a hard thing for some people to hear. Now, most people don't like to hear that because they think, oh, I deserve a whole lot more. I'm not getting as much as X, Y, or Z person. But actually, maybe you're just getting exactly what you deserve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unpopular thought. Maybe you have everything you deserve right now and you don't deserve anything more. Maybe gratitude alone can top you up after that, and resentment alone can reduce it. I think that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, I think whenever we look at these celebrities who get older, we always go, "Oh, see what they look like now." It's like, yeah, that's what they look like. Let's be honest. Let's be happy about that. Like Pamela Anderson, she looks rough, but at the same time, how old is she? She looked great for so long. This woman doesn't need to be judged in the same metric anymore. You can't go into a car with like 200,000 kilometers on the clock and go, "No new car smell here." Yeah, because it's a 200,000 kilometer car. Appreciate the fact that it still drives. It's still got a charm about it. Like its original design has aged well.
I love the way you just said about Pamela Anderson. No new car smell here.
It won't be. You got a date with her, she'll smell a bit granny. She's not going to smell fresh and floral and stuff. And what's the scene load of dick, that chick, huh? It's going to all fucking mount up.
All right, so here's what James wrote for me, and I suppose we can fit this in for the last couple of minutes of the show. He said, the segment where we read your comments, regret our life choices, and question why we ever gave you internet access. Did we give people internet access? I don't think we did, James. You see, back to the drawing board. Today, producers James and Flex step out from behind the scenes and into the line of fire, because if we're going down, we're taking them with us. Will the feedback be constructive? Probably not. Will it hurt our feelings? Absolutely. So here they are. Here's producer James. Flex is in the background. There we go.
Phone.
We're ready for your questions. Let's go. Anybody want to ask them anything? You can go for it.
It's intervention time. It feels too serious. I don't like this at all.
James, you really you shaved this morning. You brushed your hair.
I worked so hard for this show, guys. I did this morning. So
nice. So you've gone to a lot of trouble.
We're live on time. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it's like someone posted this thing this week that I saw and I loved. It's like the day that you dress up properly, you just got a haircut, you're looking great, your skin is looking fantastic, you've been to gym, you're looking amazing, and you step out and nobody sees you, right? You go to the shops and you don't recognize anybody, just strangers. And then the day that you get out of bed like James, everyone sees you.
I hate it so much. I hate it so much. I want a redo of that day. Like, like I'm looking too good not to be seen. That's the thing. Like, when I get my hair done, I want to be seen by everybody, and then no one sees you until you look crusty. But
Guys,
James,
sometimes it's okay to have a relaxed day.
Here's a question for you, James, from Janet. When can we expect some more of your art? I still dream of the cheese board.
Soon. It comes to me in my dreams, so maybe soon.
Okay. Congo Chris says, James, brush your hair for fuck's sake.
I think this might be a roasting session. People might just roast James.
Yeah, I think
Yonder says, James, why are you gay? And then this comes up, brings me to this video which I found for you. Look at this quickly.
And well, guys, if I could still show you around, here is the biggest, gayest man in the world.
Wow. So gay. So gay.
He's so gay. He's so gay.
That guy, by the way, we've got to get that guy on the show. He's become like an international celebrity now from that "Why Are You Gay" clip, right? And everybody knows him. Everyone. We've got to get him. He's in Uganda. He can't be that hard to track down. James, get him for us, please.
Yes, sir. I will.
All right. Team, why are all of y'all single? There must be a reason why y'all look so good and so happy. Love it. Because as we showed you earlier, when Bobby Kennedy was being hectored by all those women in Congress, sometimes it's better to be single. Ben, you play golf because you actually like playing golf. Some people play golf because they want to get away from their terrible wives, right?
I know. I got to hear them talk about it during the round and after the fucking round. I'm there for the golf. They're there for the fucking solitude. It's awkward.
Exactly.
Do you give them advice like it's gonna get better, or you just like
Absolutely. I give the worst advice, so it never stops me from just giving more of it.
James, have you been to that dominatrix yet from Dirk?
No, I truthfully, I can't even remember what her name was, to be honest.
How much does she charge, though? I think it's a better question there. Did we ever get that out of her?
Yeah, she did. She told us it's like tens of thousands of rands a session.
We could have crowdfunded that for James, but that's taking the piss a bit. Huh?
It's a bit
How long is a session? Goodness gracious.
Oh, it depends how humiliated you want to be. Remember, dominatrix is all about making you feel submissive. Greg says, James, please can you reduce the volume and the bass of the Be Right Back intermission screen?
Yeah. I got you, Greg.
There we go.
Actually, Flex got you.
Okay, Flex, thank you. There he is with just the black power
Flex
salute.
By the way, he's just hiding.
There he is. All right, very good. Flex is wearing who is he on the phone with? Do you know?
Not a clue. I mean, he's here. He can tell you.
Flex?
Family stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, it's nice that you do that during the show. That's great.
An emergency.
I see you wearing your Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. glasses this morning.
I'm trying to start a revolution at the Rue Network, you know.
There we go. Look at that. There
Mandela.
Amandla.
What is your manifesto, Flex?
Hire more black females.
Amandla.
Isn't that our highest demographic there?
Oh, I think it is.
Actually, it might be, yeah.
No, it's not.
It might be. I think it might be. Then you need to pull up your socks, Flex. We're relying on you here.
Flex, is that a professional request or is that a personal request?
Both.
I don't see why it can't be both, eh?
I gotta say, ladies at the Real Network of black female origin, watch out. Soak's a snake in the grass.
Right, exactly.
Sneaking up behind you with a cup of coffee, asking you how you're doing. Nothing to do with your work.
He does that already, Ben.
I know, I'm just saying.
Back to the dominatrix for a second. Slippery Pickle says, I bet after 10 lashes from the dominatrix, James will never forget her name. No, you won't.
No, because it does hurt.
James, when will you organize your own microphone in the studio? We have been talking about this for some time, Matt. So,
we can do it from Monday, sure.
There we go. Yeah. All right. Flex gets 2 minutes of airtime and he goes straight for DEI. Yeah, that's exactly right. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's his favorite thing. Lee, Gareth, can we see Alice, please?
Alice. Where is Alice?
I was going to say, who's Alice?
It's Gareth's dog.
That's funny. That's wrong.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd get you, James.
Alice, look. Good girl. There's little Alice.
How many birds has Alice murdered this week?
Probably killed about.
Oh, so murderous is Alice.
How often is Flex in the office if he doesn't know the demographics, says Dirk? No, but you see, he's mixing up his demographic as opposed to like the demographics of the show. They should be aligned, though, as he said. They can be both. How often do James and Flex use the I know Gareth pickup line? I don't think that helps them at all.
I don't think that one's been pulled out the bag yet, actually.
Well, it depends. I mean, if James likes older women, then I reckon that's a go-to. James, what's your preference, younger or older? Let's get into that.
Roughly same age group, eh?
You like a bit of the same age group, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So are we talking blondes, brunettes, tall, athletic, introverted, stubby? What's the go-to?
Of course, stubby, unattractive. Sure, people are going to say that, Ben.
Stubby
You need to learn about James, not judge him.
Wait, Ben. I like my women old, stubby, obese.
Enough about you. Enough about you. Let's get back to James.
Ben, I can actually show you. Hang on.
Ooh.
Type.
I thought so.
Oh, guys,
same hair, same glasses.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's very attractive. I want to ask you something quickly. Do any of you know what this is?
It's some sort of flower, isn't it? And then, like when flies go over it, right?
No,
it is a flower, but everything else you said is wrong.
It's a kumquat.
No, it's not a kumquat.
Pig's vagina.
A kumquat. It's not a pig's vagina, Flex. It is. The clue is in the background. Do you see that fruit there?
Yeah, it's a aubergine.
No, that's a grenadilla. That flower. That's a grenadilla flower.
Oh, is this how it looks like before it's?
You've never sounded more patronizing. It's like, guys, it's a grenadilla. Fuck, you don't even have your own garden.
Please, you think the reason that I took a picture of it because I've never seen one myself. I had no idea that it looked like that. It's got these weird little stringy things, but behind it is still an unripe grenadilla. And I found these in my mom's garden. She's got like grenadillas growing there. It's so fantastic. You cut these things open. It's sweet, but it's not like a sugary sweet. I didn't know that, but she's got all these exotic plants growing in her garden. It's pretty wild. I love it. So I thought I'd share that.
I like how the comment section actually knew what it was. Like we were the only ones who didn't.
And me knew, Shaq's Life knew, Lee knew. People know these things. I think it's quite cool.
So when granadillas grow, do they grow flowers with them? Is that a stupid question?
Oh my God. All right. Did you do biology at school?
I think answering that question would be to my own detriment. Actually,
James, Flex, we were talking about this earlier, right? Flex and I were busy berating James because his parents sent him to an expensive private school. He doesn't know anything.
Well, maybe he went there for the buggery, Gareth. Just leave James alone.
All right. Okay, let me explain something quickly from my very limited... My memory's like much, much worse than yours, and I am much older than you, James. But flowers eventually become the fruit, you idiot. So the part of the flower that is the female, I think it's the stamen and the anthers are the male part, and then the ovum of the plant, the pig vagina of the plant, is actually what becomes the fruit.
Okay. See, I genuinely didn't know that. I really didn't know that.
So when the flower is pollinated, then the male, you know, James, when two people love each other very much.
There we go.
All right,
guys. I think we've got James where we want him. Like, let's learn more about James here. Flex is in the shadows. He doesn't want to get spoken about. We just know he comes to the office for ass. But James, I mean, he does. Flex rocks up. He's like soft spoken. He rolls in there, all smooth, just ass. So James, I mean, like, okay, so we know what your type is. I mean, like, where do you go and forage for these kind of girls?
Forage
for these kinds of girls.
I mean, which rubbish bins do you rummage around?
Is it a farmer's market? Is it a franchise pub and four ways? I mean, let's get into it.
Farmer's market.
Rugby games.
Nice. Okay, good start. Where? Ellis Park or school?
Absolutely, Ellis Park.
All right. James goes to Presley's on the East Rand, says Lee. Sims, you ever been past there in your car?
Oh, hell no.
Did you see?
I'm considered a very uppity, East Rander. I don't go to dodgy places in the East Rand. Please, no.
Barbara thinks you're being mean. Barbara says, Ben, you're delivering some real low blows to James. No, you're not mocking him. You're asking questions.
I'm asking questions, and Barbara, at the same time, this is a tough school. You should see what happens in the studio and the office outside of this. This is floral.
Trust me. Yeah. We have the least politically correct office in the whole world. Dirk says, does James have a wingman, or does he hunt alone or in a pack? What is the deal?
Well,
what is the collective term for James's walking into a rugby game?
That's where Assman Flex actually comes in, by the way.
Okay. So have you ever managed to score off of Flex's excellent reputation with the women? Like he obviously comes right, but then you get some side action.
No, but that's more of a statement on me than it is on Flex.
Apparently, Conga Chris says the collective noun for James's is a heave. A heave of James's. I didn't know that.
Heave of James's.
Yeah. Okay. I thought this would be the year of no fun disses hurled your way, says Bitcoin Bot. People. Yeah, don't worry, James and Flex. I just want you guys to know that you will always come under a lot of fire on this show, but that's part of the game. I mean, Simpiwe's taken her shots, Ben's taken his, I take mine. It's just, it keeps you on your toes. You always, and remember that if the audience really don't care about you, they won't insult you.
True.
All right, can I just pull it up? If we're talking low blows, then I think Lee has the lowest of all blows in this entire show right now. She says that James is a cuck.
Yeah, that's very nasty. I don't know what that means. That's terrible. Watches from the side. Lol, 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 lol. Lee, you're a nasty piece of work. You really are.
Wow. That is tough.
All right, I'm going to call this to an end because it feels like it's becoming abusive now. James and Flex, have an excellent day. Ben, you do the same. Any exciting things happening for you this weekend? Simpiwe, James, Ben, Flex?
Yeah, I've got a new driver, so I'm going to the range to really dial in my settings. I got a new putter. Oh, Gareth, life's good right now. Yeah, it's good. Gonna go do drinking.
When you said you're getting a new driver, I was like, what, Vanuatu?
Yeah. I feel like my golf bag has never been more apex and amazing right now, so I'm just gonna groove that in a bit more.
Pretty good. All right, Sims, what's exciting for you this weekend?
I'm going to a spa this weekend. So I sent James a video, and this is like kind of like my vibe for the week or weekend. So you can play that video and just listen to what it says, like, and watch what the guy's doing.
Is this the convertible
After
Bucky?
all, computers crash, people die, relationships fall apart. The best we can do is breathe and reboot.
Sexy guys. They got it all going on at the moment.
We thought the Bakuzi was the height of like spoiling yourself when you have a Bucky, but there's a convertible Bucky. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. All right. Producers, James and Flex, anything exciting for you for the weekend besides obviously now going on hunting as a pack?
To a rugby game, yeah. Yeah, we've got that big rugby game we've got to go to this weekend to go hunting. I also want to start doing gym, so that's what I'm going to try to do this weekend at some stage.
Very good.
Nice. James, fucking well done. It'll only make your life better.
There's that. So, that's it for me. I don't know what Flex is doing besides a rugby game.
James, if you want, you can come to a gym session with me. Then we'll sit in the sauna awkwardly afterwards too.
Don't do it. Don't do it, James. Don't do it. Trouble.
That is so crazy.
Lots of people congratulating Sim here on having a weekend where she actually gets to do something for herself. And then some people confusing spa as in going with massages and all that stuff for the spa. So let's just clarify there, Sim.
I'm going for a spa massage treatment. Okay, where they're going to, do the things, untie the knots, and take away the stress. So I look
Very good.
like Halle Berry.
There we go. Don't you look like a Halle Berry poster? That's from Missy Misdemeanor Elliott. She you're a big deal when you end up in the lyrics of a rap song that people actually like. All right, that's it. We've got no more time for anything else. Thank you, everybody. Have an excellent weekend. We will be back bright and early Monday morning, and I'm looking forward to it. Have a great weekend. Ciao.